Hello, welcome, back, or just generally, oh no. Okay, so we're continuing this game. Yep. Oh, it just jumps right in. Okay. Things were so different for you from just that morning when you left and went on the drive to move. Before then, you'd never been in Golden Grove. You'd only seen it in pictures and hadn't known anybody who was local there. But here you were, a person who lived in the town and was friends with the neighbours on both sides of your house who also lived there. Were you friends? You thought so. Reed, is that you? Your mum called from over the fence. Coming! Oh, look at my cute little face. These little characters are so adorable. You bounded forward and passed through the gate. Mum had left the porch and was there to meet you. Thank you for coming back. I'm sure you were having an exciting time out there. Oh. Huh. It was great, could have been worse, I don't know. You're never gonna believe what happened. Everything was amazing. I didn't see anything about it. I wish I didn't go. Aw. You clung to her, relieved to be back, upset you had to go. I met people, Mum, kids my age. What would I say when I was 10? I'd probably go it was great. I wasn't much of a talker. I mean, was I? I can't remember. Okay. I'm so glad to hear that. From strength to strength, we've got the key to the house. The agent finally arrived about 20 minutes ago. He's gone now, but I haven't peeked yet. The both of us should be here for this. It's your house too. Yeah, this is our house now. Cute little face. Oh, okay. Absolutely. Come on. Mum turned to go and slipped the key out from her sweater pocket. She gestured with the other hand for you to follow. Your mum led the way as you went back up the stairs. The key fit perfectly into the hole on the door, and Mum smiled at the sound of an unlocking click. Carefully, she leaned forward with her shoulder, giving it a nudge, unsure if the best option for the ancient door was extra force or extra restraint. The house opened with a creak. Air came out through the front like it was exhaling. Mum let out a breath at the same time. Oh wow. Okay. Over here, Reed, there's a space for you to get a little closer. You can see inside here. You scooched towards your mum's side in the doorframe. It was then that you noticed there was a mat at the front. It had a light colour and a kinda hard but fluffy texture. The sort of mat that you'd get dirty looking right away when it was used, but it was still clean and nice. It hadn't been worn down at all like the rest of the building. I mean, the building doesn't look worn down. It looks, pleasant. This part of the house wasn't just an old thing left behind by other people who didn't need it or want it anymore. Someone must have put it there for this. Oh no. Someone must have put it there for this happening, for your mum and you moving in. Written across the top it said, "Welcome home." Aww. Mum softly tapped the top of your shoulder, bringing you back into the moment. She kept a hand there, leading you ahead with her. The two of you walked through the door. Everything in the air was still. The wind was blocked, but it was practically... Oh my god. I am so sorry, I cannot read. The wind was blocked, but it was practically as cold inside as it was out of the house. Mum shifted forward cautiously, feeling around for a light switch. Got it. A dim light from the ceiling sparked on in an instant, and there in front of you was an old-fashioned living room. The house had furniture that came along with it, but it wasn't set. The pieces were mismatched, each chair, table and bookshelf in a different colour. They were covered in transparent sheets of plastic and in dust. The room had a real fireplace made out of brick. In the back you could see a staircase going up to another floor. Beautiful. It's even better than in the photos, so much potential inside these walls. You were amazed they could fit in a storybook. You were so disappointed. Oh. I like that it has options to be like, not great, you know? It blew your old apartment out of the water. It was the worst house in the world. It could work once you had your stuff out. You thought it was okay. You didn't care about the house. You didn't want to be here. The house was definitely haunted. This place was so haunted. Awesome. I don't know. Probably this one. It blew your old apartment out of the water. You had to admit it was cooler than you had let yourself hope for. Your mum touched the tips of her fingers to the muted blue paint next to her. We'll have to clean as much as we can make... Oh my god. Sorry. We'll have to clean as much as we can to make it livable before bed. It'll be a long night. We can unpack more of our things tomorrow, though I'll be doing much of that on my own. You're going to be busy. Mum increased the pitch of her voice, squinting her eyes sweetly. After all, it's the first day of 5th grade. Oh, 5th grade. I don't know American age things. Oh no. I don't know. Cover your face going, no, it's just thinking about it. Bit your lip, scared to even imagine having to go to a new school. Probably this one. She let out a breath gently while watching you. We got here just in time, clearly. Her eyes drifted closed and there was a crease in her brows. She seemed further away without having gone anywhere. Even if I am here early for the job, I was not going to make you be a full week late to class. Being new to a town like this is already going to make you a point of attention. You can tell if she thought that was a good thing or a bad thing by her tone, but Mum didn't say any more about that. She lifted her circle scarf over her head, careful to not have it catch on her earrings, and left it on top of her suitcase. So, want to see the upstairs? Yeah. Second floor was more of the same. Lonely, sealed away rooms with furniture nobody had been using for ages that were covered up by plastic sheets. And lots of dust. You could see the footprints your mum left behind in the grime as she wandered the halls with wide, amazed eyes. After checking the staircase of the whole house, Mum made the decision to leave the furniture in its protection until after the sweeping was finished. There were too many dust bunnies that might jump over to take a seat on your couches if a spot was available. I hope I can remember where I put the dustpan. Broom itself shouldn't be hard to find. You returned to the living room after Mum got her trusty pair of crafting scissors out of her suitcase. She put her scarf inside it when taking the scissors out. Mum then went through some of the taped up boxes like it was her birthday, and each one was a shiny, unopened present with a ribbon on top, but her gift was just the stuff she already owned. One by one, she took out the supplies that had been brought for this very moment, setting them around her legs on the floor wherever there was space. Then she divided them out into separate piles. A pair of yellow gloves, a fluffy fresh duster, a bottle of cleaning spray, and a full roll of paper towels. Mum had a set of her own. That other one was for you. You were going to need them. There was only one broom and dustpan that she did successfully find. We were going to take turns using that. First move in the make the house a place people can actually live in plan was yanking open the streaky windows to get some airflow going. Though before even that, you had to get the locks on the windows themselves to come loose. You dug your fingers in between the base of the window frame and the latch pressed against it, forcing it to move against its will. When the lock clicked into place on the opposite side, you shoved the window up with both hands. Your gloves were Your gloves were already patchy with filth. The icy crisp breeze that flowed in from the outside was a lot more welcome at this point. You got a good look at the neighborhood while catching your breath. Streetlights had come on. But then you left the window there to do its job and got back to yours. The two of you went back and forth, up and down, around the house to open up everything that you could. Some windows were jammed in place so tight you had to get your mum to do it. The next point on the list was to somehow scrub down all the floors, walls, counters, and every other inch of the space where dust could settle, which was every inch of the entire house. You picked a spot and gave it a sweep with the fuzzy head of the duster. A nice line of clear wood followed behind your motion. The pattern continued for a while, and whenever the dust layer was gone from a spot, you'd go back over it again with the cleaning spray to really make it shine. Your mum was able to track down and turn on the heater, not that you could tell the difference with all the windows open. Eventually, you had a short dinner break with your mum, standing around in the kitchen together with the two of you, as dusty as the rest of the house. It was packed meals from the car. Simple sandwiches, fruits with thick peels that wouldn't get smashed in the drive, little bags of granola and pretzels, and juice boxes. There were no groceries. The regular fridge was off and totally empty when you checked. I was relieved that there was nothing gross in there. It was disappointing that there was nothing gross in there. Honestly, it is a relief, but I would want to see something gross, you know? It was disappointing that there was nothing gross in there. What's the point of having a weird old house if there isn't at least one jar with mysterious glue and lumps inside? The trash from your food was dumped into the same giant black garbage bag that you'd been throwing piles of grey stained paper towels and wads of squished together tape in for the whole night. Somehow, the bag was getting full even though it was big enough to fit your whole body inside. It was a mark of how much work you'd already done. Looking at just the house made you think you hadn't even gotten started. The only way to change that was to keep going, as your mum talked about when encouraging herself to clean again after dinner. You and your mum polished up the house as best you could for even more hours. But when your usual bedtime arrived, Mum put the duster and the scissors down. She wasn't gonna have you stay up late, no matter how excited she was to unpack. She guided you to the first floor bathroom, the one on the second floor were too dirty to use, parking her overnight bag over the counter along the way. Your mum explained how she'd do a round throughout the whole house to close the windows to keep busy until the bathroom was free, and left you to get ready to sleep. Inside the bag was little baby-sized versions of normal toothpaste and mouthwash, containers and simple toothbrushes. All you had for pajamas that night was a green long-sleeved shirt with matching pants. You got as clean as you possibly could with only a sink to use. Yeah. Trying to get the grimy feeling off your skin wasn't easy, and it took way longer than usual, but it was crucial. You took your glasses off for bed. Then you changed into the PJs and let your mum have her turn. While she was away, you took out your favourite stuffed animal from the packed bag, you took out your favourite action figure from your packed bag, you took out your favourite doll, a special blanket, a special pillow, you're going to wait for her to be done. I slept with stuffed animals. I mean, I still do, but like, I had a little wolf I slept with. No, the sheep. I had a little lamb. And a little yellow ribbon. Yes, you took out your favourite stuffed animal from your packed bag. It wasn't something you could sleep without. The furniture was still plastic wrapped, so you crouched down and sat on the rug. Mum returned in only a couple of minutes, wearing her purple pajamas, and she also had sleeping bags tucked under each of her arms. She shifted one forward to hold against the front of her chest and dropped the other onto the floor. It landed with a puff. That'll be mine. Your mum noted while trying to untie the band that kept the sleeping bag together in a roll. She pinched and pulled at the knot. When it didn't budge, she lifted the bundle to her face and used her teeth to pry the threaded bands apart from each other. She got it loose and victoriously flapped the bag all the way open. She laid it down in a clear spot on the wooden floor. There you are, Reed. All ready. Okay. You used your feet and rocked back and forth to move yourself across the antique rug, scooting towards the sleeping bag without getting off the ground. Mum chatted casually while spreading out her own bag nearby. We'll need to get some wood so we can actually use a fireplace on nights like these. Did your mum know how to use a fireplace? You'd never seen one in person until now, and so far you'd still never seen one that had fire in it. Luckily, the house was warm and cozy without that. Since the windows stopped letting the chill in, the heater worked. That was sort of a surprise to you. Mum settled down on the center of her temporary bed. Some fancy pajamas. Lace. She sat cross-legged with her back solidly straight. Her hand came to rest on top of her knees, and she made direct eye contact with you. Thank you for the help with the house today. It'll be home before we know it at this rate. I'm so tired now. I'm so tired now, he said while flopping down. Yeah, I can understand that. She slapped her shoulders, easing away some of the stiffness. I don't know if I'd say that outright. Yeah. Hey, guess what happened with the paper I showed you? It burst into flames in the palm of your hand. No, Mum. Okay, tell me, dear. After pausing just a little to pause suspense, you began to narrate the entire story of the paper airplane adventure. From the moment it hit to the way it led you down the forest crossroad, meeting Key on his tower with his notebook full of loose pages, then finding Tamarack in her leaf pile and all her surprises. Mum listened with her whole self, leaning forward and grinning wider with each turn you revealed. You wrapped it up by explaining how you returned to the neighborhood with Q and Tamarack after everything you had discovered. What a way to spend an afternoon. I'm proud of you, Reed. You're a bona fide detective. I had a feeling that note would lead to something interesting. You kicked your legs up and down on your sleeping bag, very pleased with her reaction. It was a fun story to tell. Somehow, the events of the day felt like they were a long time ago, or that they happened to someone else, and you just heard about it. But it had been real. The paper airplane hit your shoulder. You held the note in your hands. You know what, yeah, and you saved the paper with your things as keepsake. It had nice memories that went with it. With your topic all done, Mum Sophie spoke up to share her thoughts with you. It's odd imagining this entire building collecting dust for all this time, isn't it? No one wanted to live here, not renters, not the man who owned it, but a charming house. So it is haunted? Yeah, it is. How do we get to have something like this? Mum pinched her lips together in consideration, then she kept talking. There wasn't a lot of opportunities out in these woods, I suppose. At my company, the retiring of the former HR manager was the first big position I've ever heard of for this area. And even that didn't open up for people already living in the town. I was asked to relocate to take this position. Creases grew around her eyes the more she thought about it. She caught herself before her frown could follow. Oh, but it's not an issue, I'm grateful. We'll find our place in the slow pace of Golden Grove, and at least we'll have each other regardless. Yeah, nod. Thank you, Reed. Then your mum stretched her legs out fully across her sleeping bag, wiggling her toes inside the black socks she had on. Seeing them right there on the floor with you was cool. You didn't hang out together during bedtime like this most nights. It was special. As you thought about that, your eyelids were trying to tape themselves up with sticky, gritty stuff your eyes made when it was extra late. Alright dear, you should get inside and sleep inside the sleeping bag now, before you blink out on top of it. Oh, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Scooping your stuffed animal into both of your arms, you shimmied into the open end of the bag. It was made out of fabric that was so smooth it wasn't difficult to do. You moved further down until the bag was to your chin. You were wrapped up like a loaf of bread in a grocery bag. Mum got to her feet, taking a short jog over to the far wall of the room. She lifted a finger to the light switch, but kept her gaze down on you. The expression on her face was gentle. Good night, Reed. Yeah, good night, Mum. The room went pitch black with a click. While your eyes were trying to adjust, you heard the shuffling sounds of Mum. She joined you on the floor again. Those noises soon stopped. Mum didn't talk anymore. There weren't sounds of cars passing outside. There was a thumping in your ears, and you thought you might have heard a creak somewhere. Ghosts. The night noises were a lot different than what you had experience with. They were so quiet and distant. It made you notice them more than if they were clearer. You'd have to get to know the sounds better. It was another part of the house's personality. You were okay with that. There was almost need time to get familiar with each other. You pressed your eyelids shut. In your head were thoughts of, Yeah, the first day of school. You laid awake in the squishy cocoon. Dreams didn't reach you that night. Then your second day in Golden Grove arrived. Day 2! Okay, hello again. We mentioned it earlier, but occasionally you will get the opportunity to change what you're wearing during the game. Oh, no. Oh, wait, how do I go back? I didn't read that part. Log. Okay, you may also be able to take off accessories like hats and scarves during in-game moments. If you don't want to bother with changing your outfits, you can toggle these sections off from your details screen. Click info on the right to find it. Okay. Turning off the dress up sections means what layers you choose to take off and keep wearing when you get to school will be your preference for what you wear indoors for the rest of step 1, or until you turn on the dress section 8. Would you like to see the dress up sections in the future? I want to pick my outfits. I love picking my outfits. Have fun. Alright, thank you. So, okay. I'll change my shirt, I suppose. You know what? No, that shirt can stay. It's fine. I don't know if I actually want to change it. It's autumn, so it would be cold, wouldn't it? I don't know. I walk hats like these all the time, but I don't know. Earrings. I don't know. You know what? It's fine. Hair. Can I? Yep. Oh. You know what? It's fine. How do I leave now? Oh, what? Yeah, okay. Have fun, thank you. Okay, now what? Hello? Okay. But your second date had only just arrived. Only one corner of the world outside the window had any sunlight. The rest was all shadows. The lights in the house had to be turned on for you to see your own hands. Did I wake up well? I think I waked up okay. You didn't mind that. At least you got to rest a little more. The unpacking wouldn't be started again until a lot later. That's what your mum said when you were brushing your teeth. For now, you both only had what was already out. The food around to eat was still the same stuff from yesterday. It was what you had for breakfast already, and you could see your mum unpacking it into a brown bag for lunch too. That was the last of the preparation she had to do for your school. You were pretty sure. Your mum really wanted to be the one to get your supplies for the first day together. She'd put snacks of stapled papers, a notebook, your pencil case, a ruler, and more into your backpack. Hold on. Preferences. Make the sounds louder, I think. There, return to game. Alright. She'd put stacks of stapled papers, a notebook, your pencil case, a ruler, and more into your backpack. Mum had kept the pack on the middle seat of her car to make sure it would be right there when it was time to use it for class. If it had gone missing, maybe you would have had to carry your school stuff in a cardboard box, the same way you had to bring everything else you earned to this place in big boxes. You watched her from your comfy spot on your sleeping bag. You'd already gotten dressed for the day, but that didn't mean you couldn't sit on the bed again. There wasn't anywhere else to. Soon you'd be leaving the new house and the neighborhood and all the parts of Golden Road you'd gotten used to. The next stop into the unknown was North Acres Elementary School. You kind of wondered why your mum was bothering with making you bring so many things. None of the stuff in the backpack would make you prepared for that. But school thoughts were shaken out of your head when a muffled thumping sound filled up the air. Mum slowly lowered her full hands down to the counter, and at the same time her head and eyebrows went up. Guess? Already? At this hour? Your mum left your lunch bag incomplete on the tabletop and went to investigate knocking. You got up to go see Sue. Yep. You pressed your hands into the shiny stuffed bedding underneath you as you leaned onto your feet to get off the floor. You were able to join Mum before she opened the door. She pushed the long handle down with a click and tugged the door forward. It squeaked open. You glanced ahead, squinting your eyes to adjust from the complete brightness inside to the pale dawn outside. Standing tall on the welcome mat, seeming totally at home at your home, was the new friend you had met the day before, Mr. Keelan. Q-Lin. I will get that right at some point. Q's fluffy hood was tucked snugly around his head. He didn't usually do that, at least based on how much he knew was the usual for him. His hair is so nice. Maybe it was because the air was somehow even more skin-prickling cold in the morning than it was during the day or evening. You shuddered just from the wind coming in through the opening. When he caught sight of you there, a plucky grin took over his face. He popped into the balls of his feet, getting even taller and cheering a greeting. Good morning. Seeing who it was, you... shoved my mum, yeah. Scooted past your mum to stand by Q on the porch. Q puffed up, completely pleased that you'd come over to him. He mirrored your move so he was facing you instead of Mum. Hi. See you, thanks for coming to my house. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You asked curiously. I have plans. Q stayed put in the place he took, but angled his head up and over to give his focus to your mum. I'm Mr. Q-Lin. I'm your neighbour and the same age as Miss Reed S. Oh, I do not like the miss. Okay, it's fine. The two of us met yesterday. Ah yes, I've heard. I've been anticipating getting to meet you, and those feelings were well placed. You're so polite. Q straightened out the line of his bandana with both hands, giggling cheekily as he made direct eye contact with you. Well, if somebody has been talking about me, I hope it was good stuff. Now, I should introduce myself as well. I'm Miss S, Reed's mother. I probably should have put a last name, to be honest. The S part is kinda... Okay, whatever. Too late to change it. It's nice to meet you. May I speak with Reed, Miss S? There's something I want to talk to her about. Thoughtfully, your mum's glance drifted down to you. Without looking back at him, your mum replied, That would be fine. I'll finish getting your bag ready, Reed. You two can chat. Q clasped his hands together primly. Thank you very much. He's such a character. Like, yeah. Mum let a content smile rest on her face as she walked back inside the house, leaving you alone with Q. You looked back at him eagerly. It was only the morning, and something good was already happening. What did you want to say? Q didn't beat around the bush with you. He probably didn't with anyone. He came right out with what he had in mind. We're all to school together? It's the first day. He squared his shoulders and held out a hand, counting off points on his fingers. We're going to the same place, in the same grade. There's a good chance we'll be in the same class. Going together would make everything so easy. Thanks, I'm sorry, you should get it. Okay. Alright. He popped up an enthusiastic double thumbs up. And guess what else is a reason... Oh my god. And guess what else is a reason for why we should walk together? What? His gaze got sharper, but it didn't feel scary at all. The glance was like a fancy cut jewel rather than a pointy weapon. It's because I want you to be there. So, yep, I think it makes a lot of sense that we'd go together. With his hands in his pockets, Q shifted the whole top of his body diagonally over to one side. The tilt of his head really showed off the bend in his self-pleased smile. Oh. He flung an arm back out and arched the fingers across the air in front of both of your faces. It might have been to stop you before you could say anything, or to keep himself from forgetting what else he wanted to talk about. And it wouldn't be just us. I'm gonna keep going down the cul-de-sac to Granny's house so I can ask Tamarack next. So that's it. What do you think about all three of us walking together? It's a good plan, right? No. Yeah. It's a great idea, I want to go. You swung out your hands behind you and spoke out again. I'll get my backpack and tell my mum we're going. Cool. I'll wait here for you. Alright. You parted with Q for a second, but didn't bother closing the door. The sound of your feet against the floor was the only noise in the huge house. You couldn't have snuck up on Mum if you tried. Each step you took brought you closer, and it made the smile on her face grow larger, but she didn't get distracted from her job. Her gaze stayed stuck to the counter. Mum placed one paper into your backpack and snapped the plastic flaps on the top flap closed. With that secured, she probably picked the bag up by the loop handle. She lowered herself down to your height by bending her knee low. Then she offered the backpack over to you. Exceptional timing, dear. Exceptional timing, dear. Here, you're set to go. It was a nice light when you took the bag from her. That wouldn't last. Soon you'd have actual school books to bring around with you. What happened with our guest? Did he leave? You answered the question while looping one arm off the other into the wide openings of your backpack straps. He's out there still. Q wants me to walk to school with him. Can I go? You shifted your grip to the dangly ends of the armbands, then gave them a swift tug to tighten the straps, fully secured the bag against you. He came over to ask you that? Talk about convenient. The young Mr. Lin must know that way far better than I do. You certainly can walk together. That was exactly what you thought she'd say. You could count on her to understand. As she smiled, her face lit up softly like the early morning sunshine outside. Mom pinched the tip of your chin between her thumb and her pointer finger. Enjoy your first day. There's only one of them per year. Maybe she was right. You would look at what was nice instead of what wasn't. You still weren't cheering about going to school, and that was a fact. You didn't feel any better, but you didn't want anyone to notice. Maybe she was right. You would look at what was nice instead of what wasn't. Yeah, whoa, optimism. Anything could happen for all you knew. It might be good. She let you go in order to place her hands on her thighs, needing to balance herself as she stiffly straightened up to her full height. Your mom folded her arms proudly, watching you leave for the day. You were going ahead without her. Through the open door, you could see Q waiting patiently on your porch sill. He turned his back to the house, instead looking around the neighborhood. You came to his side, and that caused attention. But his gaze didn't go to yours. It went right to the backpack you had on. Q grinned hopefully. I told Mum, it's okay. He smacked his hands together enthusiastically. Alright, time to go. You know, Reed, it's been forever since I've gotten to walk to school with a friend. You perked your ears, going super alert. He said you were friends. You thought you were, but it was totally different to have him talk about it just like that. Yeah. Me too, Q. This is great. He grinned ear to ear. Q was full of certainty. Q easily swiveled all the way around on his heels. He firmly planted his feet into the floorboards of the porch to close out his move. Then he confidently strode forward and leapt over the little steps to get onto the ground. Q had places to be and nothing was going to stand his way. I cannot read today, what the hell? Happily, you went along with him down the stone path, past the fence and onto the neighborhood sidewalk. It took less than a minute to go around the bendy curve of your neighborhood that led to the least pointy, least colorful home on the street. Tamarak's house. Also, her Omi and Opa's home. Q and you wandered right into the uncharted territory of their porch. Q tapped out a rhythmic set of knocks. Q brought his arms to his side, shook his head to readjust the way his hair fell around his shoulders, and positioned himself squarely in the center of the entryway. The old door began to jingle in its frame like it was shivering cold from being outside this early too, but someone was fiddling with the doorknob on the other side, and then the door swung wide open with a shattering yank and a gust of flowery perfumed air coming from deep inside the house. Still clasping the handle and leaning her head against the wood, Tamarak was there to greet you. She had her bag and scarf on for the first day already. Hello. Good morning, Tamarak. Her eyes popped open. She hadn't looked to see who was at her door before saying hello, but she could tell who it was from that answer. Tamarak's tone of voice lightened even more. Q and Reed? You're both here? Hi. Yep. Good morning, Tamarak. Q kept his very proper pose and offered Tamarak the same invitation he'd given you. I'm glad we didn't miss you. We're all going to the same school, right? It'd be cool to walk as a group. Want to? She blinked rapidly, many times and all in a row. In the soft pink light, her eyelashes looked almost like shimmering dragonfly wings. Wow, okay. I want to come. She twisted almost the whole way around, turning her back to you. You could just barely glimpse the darkened hall beyond her. Tamarak then leaned over, bending her knee, and powerfully shouted into the depths of the grey house. I'm going to school now. Her loud, high-pitched call echoed through the hallway. Have a good day, young lady. Tamarak hopped forward. It was small, but that was all it took to go from being in her house to being in the outside world. She tugged the doorknob with her to slam the door shut. I'm ready. The quickness of all that was too much, and Q needed seconds to catch up with it. But when he did, he chuckled. Perfect. And by the way, people don't usually call me Q, especially at school. I've got a nickname, it's Autumn, because that's what my name means. Ooh, okay, I like Q. You do? Thanks. I don't really want to call people nicknames unless they like specifically ask me to. I think I'll just keep using his name. Q later settled his hands on his hips and his eyes moved away off to the side, even though there was nothing special to see that way. Guess we've actually got to go to class. Yeah. She bumped her fists up and down in the air in a pattern that matched the pace of her yeahs. Here we go, I hope we're not going to be late. You sound really excited, Q. I'm glad you're coming, Tamarack. Yeah, you sighed. Yeah, you traded along with Tamarack. You smiled wide. Or we could not go, you teased. We could not go. Yeah, you sighed. Yeah. Her last yeah was only a whisper. All clustered together, you, Q, and Tamarack tramped off the white wooden porch. The full set of cul-de-sac kids hit the road again. The trip was almost the opposite of last time. The sun was coming up instead of going down, and you were leaving the neighborhood instead of going back to it. But that wasn't what really stood out to you. It was a little bit amazing you already could compare it to a last time. And you could guess that this journey with them wasn't going to be the actual last time it ever happened. It just became the last time it happened before the new next time. The first part of the school trip wasn't hard. There was only one way out of your neighborhood unless someone hiked out into wherever the woods went. That would be cool. Maybe you'd be able to do that someday. Your actual path forward had you brush past the forest fork that originally led you to meeting Q and Tamarack. But you weren't stuck with the same lines as before. This morning you moved right on by without even stopping to check what might be hidden away back there. Now you traveled even further. The woods crowded in closer and closer around the one road that led out, until suddenly the structures began to appear in between the bushes. The thick overhang of leaves pulled apart to reveal the sky. The world unfolded ahead of you. Sunshine climbed mountains to just barely tickle your cheeks while the stars still clustered against your back. That was some nice fucking wording or whatever. Okay. You were right in the center of a windy mountain path. It flowed over the uneven ground, blanketing every small bump and bend like a black river. Along the street, huge wooden poles rose into the sky in a row that rivaled the trees. Stretching phone lines and reaching branches wove the whole town together. Even though the Golden Road was a lived-in place with man-made things, the vast wilderness was as much a neighbor to the residents as the real people neighbors. Tamarack tramped over the grass, swishing her arms in full-length swings in front of her. She didn't get anywhere near the tarmac. Q's stride was a lot breezier. He took the spot in the line closest to the road and didn't even check for cars. His eyes were aimed at the now viewable sky. You ended up somewhere in between them. If Tamarack was a swoosh and Q was a breeze, you were a whirlwind. You rushed about, twisting the angle of your head and taking in every new thing that surrounded you. All the air went out the window when Q started moving his hands around even more than Tamarack. He frantically stuck his fingers in and out of each of his pockets while poking his tongue out of the corner of his mouth. You and Tamarack just watched as he tugged out his jacket and pants while walking. Two of you probably shared the same exact thought. He was looking for his notebook or paper or something. Aha! And it was paper. But it wasn't his special tan pages. The thing Hugh grabbed was a thick, folded packet of white printed paper that was covered all over in tiny ink words. You could instantly tell what it was. That many papers stapled together with that many little words on them only ever came from one place: school. Hugh held it close to his face. He had his nose completely in what was basically a book, but for some reason he started to talk to you and Tamarack. Which room did you get? For a second, Q peeked over the edges. Oh my god. For a second, Q peeked over the pages to look at the both of you. Who's the teacher? Tamarack thought hard, but she didn't find an answer in her head. She squished her hand on the flap of her bag without unbuckling it. She had to find her own papers. know what? I remember. I read it earlier. I remember my mom told me. Would I remember it? You know what? I remember my mom told me. Yep. I'm in room 24 with Mrs. Murray. Q used his thumbs to bend the papers down. They stopped hiding his face and you could see he was smiling. Wait, that's my room too. Tamara waved her packet in the air in a crinkly flurry. Me 3. Okay, we're on the same class. We're gonna be stuck together forever. We're gonna be stuck together forever. You close your eyes. You're happy you get this shit. We're on the same class. Your mom had given you the papers. Q probably got his from his mum and dad, and Tamarak from her Omi Opa. Despite being kind of different, the papers were all the same. A smirk settled in its regular spot on Q's face, all according to a plan if he somehow could have planned it. We're roommates. He didn't need the packet for anything else, so he stuffed it in his pant pocket with a shrug of one shoulder. There's only 3 5th grade classes we could have been in. When Q made sure it was deep enough to not just fall out, he brought both his arms into an even bigger shrug and chuckled too. But Mrs. Murray? I almost made it without her being my teacher. It was close. Tamarak peered into his face with wide eyes, leaning over so much that you could almost walk into her. She didn't have to say what her question was with words. Q got it. Don't worry, she's nice. She's the best teacher for you too. Q made a very serious and reassuring okay sign with his fingers, but in an instant it snapped into a pointing gesture. And you're probably going to be shocked, but Mrs. Murray isn't just a teacher, she's a mom. She has kids that are just her kids, not just students. Wow. Why would that be weird? How does a teacher have kids read? Same way all adults do. But now I know where we're really going. I can bring us to the right door. The extra burst of confidence got Q to take a few long strides ahead of you and Tamarak, keeping his chin high. Tamarak bounced across the grass, kicking her knees high to catch up. She didn't let him keep the lead he took. You shyly caught up. You stumbled forward to get back in the middle of the row. You were greeted with grins from both of them. Your steps came back into a steady rhythm between the 3 of you. Q, why don't you want Miss Murray for your teacher? Because she knows me. Not like all the teachers have met me because I go to that school. His dark brown eyes stretched open as wide as they could. His whispered words were pulled out just as long. It was a deep, secret confession. She really knows me, outside of school and everything. The seriousness of it only lasted a few seconds. Q laughed at it instead. It's gonna be tough to get away with stuff now. Instead, Tamarak put on the shocked expression Q had just put away. Whoa, I've never seen a teacher outside of school. When do they leave? Pretty late usually, but they do go home and do errands and stuff. I've experienced it. Was she like his babysitter? Oh, that was interesting. You learned something new. The longer the walk went on, the more Tamarak's gaze was pulled to the forest edge along the road instead of what was right in front of her. Her steps drifted unevenly. You couldn't blame her. You had done the same thing during the trip a few times. But you weren't the only one who noticed her focus. Hey, so it's kind of funny how both of you like the woods that much. It's the only place I've been here so far. She said it in the plainest way possible, and the words still made Q gasp hard enough to cough. Have you been places other than the forest? Yeah, lots. They're not good. I can't believe it. We should try to make her change her mind on what she likes. Hey, both places can be good, they're just different. Yeah. Q shook off the shock Tamarac's statement hit him with. He turned his cheek to the front as he rolled his shoulder. He was winding up for a comeback. I guess I can give you one thing. There was a pretty special kind of fun that, in all of my years of living here, you could only ever have out in these very woods, nowhere else. Really? What is it? It passed a reel and Tamarak was hooked on it. She'd instantly become invested in whatever mystery Q had up his line. I'm not gonna tell you. What? Tamarak shrieked in a tone so high it scared away a bird who was minding its business on the tree above. It was hook, line, and sinker. Beat of its wings fluttering against the wind matched Q's giggling. He brought a hand to his chin and leveled a mischievous glance at Tamarak. One day you'll understand. Probably. That was really it. He closed his lips, folded his arms, and settled into not explaining for the rest of the walk. Tamarak couldn't accept that, or couldn't get the hint. She pestered him with the passion in her words getting stronger every time she repeated them. Tell me the thing. Tell me the special thing. Q, tell me the special thing. Mystery's place in the woods. Please tell us. Sorry, Tamarak, you have to wait. Come on, Q. It was too funny, I guess. You could watch it all day. The conversation of Tamarak's attempt to squeeze Q for info and the sneakers that escaped from Q continued while you headed towards your goal. Oh, what's talking about is like jungle gym or whatever. Like that little building in his backyard. Down the road some more, over a crosswalk past the main street, taking a turn at the corner. That was when the widest building you'd ever seen so far came into view. There had been taller ones, because that one only had 2 floors, but there was a lot of those floors. North Acres Elementary School. The name made sense. You wondered exactly how many acres it was. Dozens of the other kids were pouring out from a few different paths and mixing together until the front arches above the giant door. You tried to stand up straight, wanting to do things right. Then you went through the door together. Q and Tamarak stayed even closer to you than on the walk there. Inside was a long hall with different doors and a staircase on the side. It was shiny and dull, like it had been cleaned so hard for so long it made everything even more worn down than normal. 4th grade, happy fall, y'all. Okay. What does that say? Welcome to Pumpkin Party. Sue, you're all here today. Oh, that's our room. No, it's not. Never mind. First of all, with a bunch of paper sheets tacked on line the walls. Nobody was even looking at them. The pages they might never been. Oh my god. The messages they had might never have been read. The floors had a checkered title pattern. Some of the kids around made sure to only walk on one of the colours and avoid the other. And it was loud. There was too much noise from the crowd from the hall to hold. It echoed around, which made it even louder. This place was your school now. Q tapped your shoulder and pointed with his other hand. You figured that was his way to say you had to keep going without having to yell so you could hear. The 3 of you pressed past the other students, making sure you didn't get separated. Step by step, you climbed upwards and forwards. Q waved a hand towards the right door when you reached the top. You had arrived for the first day of class right on time. Oh, hello classroom. It's very nice. The little bit of cold you'd brought inside the school on the tip of your nose and over your cheeks had finally drifted off your face. It was nice and warm when you went into the room. Your brand new class, 5th grade, 24, smelled like people hard at work. Cut construction paper, crayons, glue, anything could be made with that. There were tons of leaves stuck to the different coloured walls, climbing around the windows, hanging from the shelves and sneaking out from behind the boards, where some of those things could be made. I am not good with reading today. Oh no. Kids sat together in the closed groups. The desks were pushed up to make a bigger table. To make bigger tables, that was... Oh. Okay. Desks were pushed up to make bigger tables. There was just one chair by itself, right at the front. Or the back if the way in was the front door. Tamarack took in a loud breath of waxy air. Wow, I thought it was going to be ugly. Yeah, me too, but this is school. Yeah. Hugh shrugged his backpack off the floor. When it hit the ground, a puff of air came out at the not totally zipped top. Something in the place caught his eye, in a good way or a bad one. It was like nothing around him existed. Hugh just watched you and Tamarack look. He chuckled at the faces you both made. The classes looked the same for every room, in every grade, every year. Oh, it wasn't that he couldn't see what you did. It was that he'd already seen it 110 times or more. Hugh knew school as well as he knew everything else in Golden Grove. He kicked his backpack behind him to be up against the wall, never glancing down. There was already a bunch of other bags there, sat one by one along the far side of the room. They were almost completely hidden under a new row of hooks that had coats and jackets and stuff, clustered over them in stacked piles. There weren't enough holders for all the layers people brought. You're pretty lucky. This is your first time here, but you're only gonna have to do it once. We're gonna graduate and go to a different school next year. We'll all be the new kids then. He talked while he pulled his arms out of the jacket you'd always seen him wear so far. He tossed it on top of a rounded lump of other coats with a hook somewhere below it all. Tamarack waited, watched, and she tugged at the top of her scarf to undo the knot it was wrapped in. She talked too. I told you this place was weird and never changed. That made Cube at her. The sound was almost exactly like the noise his backpack made a minute ago. School is different than the entire town, Tamarack. Oh, they turn around. Okay, Tamarack didn't say more words against that. She just got on her tiptoes to sling her untied scarf over Q's jacket, putting the mountain of stuff on the one little hook even higher. Hugh shoved his bandana deep into one of the pockets and lifted up his other shoulder. You're right, that class is always the same. Seeing Hugh without his fluffy jacket felt like seeing a lion without its mane. He folded his arms high across his chest and gazed upon what you were starting to get was his kingdom. He had all the pride of a lion even without the jacket. Though Q acted like that, was it for getting ready? He hadn't taken his gloves off. Was he gonna wear those to class? Tamarack had held tight to the strap of her bag. It for sure wasn't going with the rest of the bags. That meant she was definitely already done with the putting your stuff away part of getting to school. Tamarack's overalls were the most over clothes she had once. The scarf was off. No coat or a cool punch or anything. The overalls were kind of short too. They didn't cover her whole legs. Her ankles had long socks and yellow rubber rain boots to keep them warm, but you had to wonder if she didn't feel cold the same way most people did. Good morning and welcome, students. Alright, that is it for today, I think. I've been here for a while, so yeah. Next time we'll be doing the whole first day of school. Oh shit, yep. Save here. Alright. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll be in the next video probably next week. I just took a week break last week. So yeah, I'm not sure how long the demo is. So yeah, yep. Okay, yeah, bye.